They told me love was weakness. But when he looked at me across the battlefield, I knew I'd already lost the war. My name is Liang Feng, General of the Crimson Legion, sworn protector of the Han Empire. For years, I believed victory was everything. I fought for honor, for my emperor, never for myself. Until I met him. King Rui of Xi'an. Our enemy. My forbidden peace. I still remember the first time he spoke my name. Not as a rival, but as a man. Liang Feng, he said, smiling under the lantern light. You make loyalty look effortless. I envy that. I shouldn't have answered, but my heart did before my mouth could stop it. And you make power look gentle, I told him. He laughed, a sound that burned into memory. For a while, peace lasted. We met under the pretext of treaties and border talks, but behind every word was something unspoken. His hand would brush mine when we exchanged scrolls. His gaze would linger too long across the tea table. We were two nations pretending not to notice that love had already crossed the border. Then came the whisper. A letter forged in my name, carrying words of betrayal. It reached his court through a man they called the Black Sheep, a minister hungry for the throne. He told Rui I had sold him out. He told me Rui planned to invade first, and we believed him. The day the war drums sounded, I still half hoped he'd appear and tell me it was all a mistake. Instead, I saw his banners rising over the hills. Crimson, meeting, crimson. We met once in the chaos, blades drawn, hearts trembling. He shouted, "You betrayed me, Liang Feng." I tried to answer, but the roar of war drowned my voice, and when he turned away, the space between us felt wider than the empire itself. The war ended with his victory. Han fell. I was captured but spared. His final order, they said. Days later, word spread. King Rui was dead. Poisoned. By the same man who had poisoned our hearts. When I learned the truth, my world collapsed. All this time, I had fought the wrong enemy. I knelt before his empty throne, blood on my hands, guilt crushing my chest. If only I had trusted you, I whispered. If only love had been louder than pride. That night I closed my eyes, ready to face the punishment I deserved. As the candle burned out, I thought I heard his voice. Calm, forgiving. Liang Feng, it wasn't your fault. Then nothing. General Liang, I gasped, sitting upright. Sunlight streamed through the tent. My aide stood before me holding reports. You're awake. The council awaits your orders for next month's campaign. Next month's campaign? My hands trembled. The map on the table showed the border still intact. No war, no blood. I rushed outside, the same camp, the same morning light, but the air felt alive, different. Somehow, I was back. A month before the war that destroyed everything. And somewhere beyond these walls, I knew he was alive too. King Rui. The man I loved. The man I lost. What will I do this time? Can I change what fate has written? Or will my heart betray me again? When I opened my eyes again, the world looked exactly as it had before, except for the weight that pressed on my heart. The banners were still bright, the soldiers still loyal. But I knew what was coming. A month from now, the war that destroyed two kingdoms would begin, and the man I loved would die. This time, I wouldn't let that happen. I avoided every route that might lead to him. I refused every diplomatic meeting, every invitation that bore the royal seal of Xi'an. If distance could save us, then I would turn love into exile, but fate has its own sense of humor. 3 days later, a messenger arrived. The King of Xi'an requests your presence, General. He wishes to discuss peace. I almost laughed. The same invitation that, last time, led to betrayal. I should have burned it. Instead, my hands shook as I broke the seal. Inside was only one line. If you remember, come alone. My blood turned to ice. When I entered the neutral hall, he was already there. Taller than I remembered, wearing a calm that didn't belong to this lifetime. He looked at me, as if the years between us had already happened. Liang Feng, he said softly. So it wasn't just me. My throat tightened. You remember? He nodded. Every battle, every word, every mistake. Then, lower, and every time I almost said I loved you. For a heartbeat, the world fell away. I wanted to fall into that memory, but I forced myself to step back. This is dangerous. The court still watches. The war. He cut me off with a faint smile. There will be no war. Not this time. True to his word, Rui turned the entire board of politics upside down. He signed treaties before the ministers could argue. He fed the black sheep false information, drawing him out into the open. Within weeks, the rumors that once divided us were crumbling like ash. But something else was happening. The king who once loved quietly began to look at me with hunger in his eyes. Every council meeting, every shared strategy map, his gaze lingered a little longer. When our hands brushed, the air itself seemed to hold its breath. I told myself it was gratitude. He called it fate. One evening, he invited me to his palace. The ministers demand another treaty, he said, one that will bind our kingdoms together forever. I frowned. What kind of treaty? He took a step closer. Marriage. Silence. You can't be serious, I whispered. He smiled. It's the only way they'll accept peace. And the only way I'll let you stay close enough for me to protect. I wanted to argue, but part of me had already given in. Not to duty, to the hope that maybe this time we could rewrite destiny. The ceremony was quiet, almost secret. Two nations watched their leaders swear peace, but only we knew the truth hidden between the vows. His hand trembled when he placed the ring. Mine when I whispered, I do. That night, beneath the magnolia trees, he said, I built my empire for you once. This time, I'll keep it for us. And for the first time in 2 lifetimes, I believed him. The black sheep made one final move, an attempt to assassinate Rui during the celebration. But Rui was waiting. When the traitor's plot collapsed, the court finally saw the truth. He was executed for treason, and with him died the last shadow of our old pain. When it was over, Rui found me standing at the balcony, watching the storm pass over the city. He stepped behind me, rested a hand on my shoulder. It's done, he said. No more lies between us. I turned to him. His eyes held the same fire as before, but this time without fear. Why go so far? I asked. You could have let me walk away. He smiled, faint but certain. Because I already lost you once. In this life, I will not ask permission to love you. My chest tightened. Not with pain, but with the unbearable relief of being seen. I whispered, then let this life be ours. He drew me close, and for a long moment, there were no crowns, no empires, just the sound of rain and the steady beat of a heart that had waited too long. Years passed, the peace between our kingdoms held. We rebuilt what the old war destroyed. And every spring, when magnolias bloomed, we visited the hill where we had first met as enemies. He'd always reach for my hand and say, Do you still think love is weakness? I'd smile. No, it's the only war worth winning. If the heavens are listening, this time don't tear us apart. We've already paid for every mistake. Let this be the lifetime we keep. And that was the General's Soulmate Returns. A love that defied time, war, and destiny itself. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us bring more emotional stories to life. Tales of love, regret, and second chances. Until next time, may your heart always find its way back home.